Good evening, ma'am. So, the one learning that stuck with me was your change equation, which you explained as change is equal to pressure into vision into capacity into first steps. And this should be greater than resistance. And what is the implication if any of this element is zero? If pressure is zero, people are complacent. If vision is zero, then there is confusion. If capacity is zero, then there is anxiety, and if the first steps are missing, there is frustration. So, this learning that leaders must ensure all variables are non zero to overcome resistance is the one takeaway which I will never forget in life. Thank you.
Tall transformed how I see the leadership. Before I thought leadership was about having all the answers. Now I know it's about the courage to listen deeply, stay with discomfort, and make space for voices often unheard. One discussion on diversity, equity, and inclusion really hit me was we don't all start from the same place. Pretending merit is equal without recognizing different starting point isn't fairness, it's blindness. This shifted how I see performance in my teams. The 1996 Mount Everest disaster taught me the danger of valuing experience and ambition over listening. Leaders like Rob Hall, Scott Fisher, despite being experts, created teams where questioning was stifled, costing lives. Dr. Shekhawat's case similarly showed me how brilliance can become a bottleneck. His need to control held back the next generation of leaders in his hospital. If Tall taught me one thing, it is this: real leadership isn't about being the smartest in the room, but about creating spaces where others can speak, grow, and sometimes save you from your own blind spot. This is leadership with heart and humility.
Thank you, ma'am, for teaching us a leadership course. I must say that every single session was filled with a new experience. And the most important thing which I learned from the course is leaders may not need to have all the characteristics of a superhero, but with activities, someone can be one. There are a lot of interesting moments in the class. I especially enjoyed the activities most. The results of those activities were a revelation to me. In fact, I'm really practicing the way I should look into a situation on and off the office. The incidents and associated actions described in each of the cases and the discussions around it have been pushing me internally, in fact, to think before taking action in a more rational way. After this course, I have become more patient, I must say that. And in office, I'm going to change few things, of course, but I have written all those things in my answers in the question paper in the interim. What I liked most, I loved the Chilean mining case most because it has multiple shades, what I believed. I mean, multiple shades of leadership distributed among different people. It was portrayed by different people actually. And also, as operations, the operation finally was successful, created some emotional exuberance as well. So I think that was also one of the reasons.
Greetings, Professor Neharika. If I need to sum up the tall course in 10 seconds, I can tell that it is like a selfie camera through which we can upgrade our leadership software. We can see subtle patterns, hidden tensions, and even our own blind spots if we analyze this course thoroughly. The 10 cases which we discussed in the class, each one completely diverse in itself. Be it the Everest case, the Dr. Das case, or the Isaac case. We learned various lessons of leadership in a seamless manner. The two assignments which you gave us and the class activities helped us to pause and reflect on our choices, our actions, and how in hindsight we could have performed better. Two key takeaways from the course for me are: 1. You need to regulate distress. You cannot act as a firefighter for your team in all the scenarios. You need them to feel the heat of their actions and decisions. But at the same time, you cannot put them on fire at all the times. You need to regulate the heat to ensure that the team performs in an effective and efficient manner. Another key takeaway for me is importance of getting on the balcony, importance of zooming out sometime and getting a macro view to ensure that you have a sense of broader picture and you take the decisions in an effective manner. Thank you so much once again for the course.
Hello, Professor. A couple of learnings that I would want to talk about was the first one on adaptive leadership. The concept of adaptive leadership really impressed me. Majority of the time, I always thought that there is a standard solution to any kind of problem that involves leadership, but no, it broadened my mindset to the fact that not every problem will have a standard leadership solution or a standard leader way of looking at things. So that's one. The second case that I liked the most was the Dr. Shekhawat case. That case made me remind again and again that you might be individually the best performer. You might individually be giving your best, spending 12 hours, 18 hours a day, but always look at the fact that your team, the people who work with you, do not get overwhelmed because of the standard you set, or because of the expectations from you. That is very important. While the standards are always to be top notch, but always keep people's mental well-being and mental willingness to work with you while taking them ahead. Thank you so much.
Professor Neharika, thank you for an unforgettable course. The cases were all brilliant. Dr. Shekhawat, Everest, Jian Gomeshi. Each one opened a different window into what leadership really feels like in the messy human world. But honestly, the moment that has stayed with me the most wasn't from a case. It was the personal story you shared about your time setting up the university in Delhi during COVID. The way you described losing your temper with a colleague and how people immediately around you said, this is how bosses build discipline. Deep down, you knew that is not who you wanted to be. That hit me harder than anything else we studied. It taught me about self-awareness and character more than any framework could. Thank you for teaching us leadership, not just through readings, but through your own honesty. We are all walking away a little more thoughtful and a little more human because of you.
Hello, Professor Neharika. A lot of people are saying you run the best leadership course. Some say it's tremendous. Some say it's maybe the greatest course in the entire history of courses. And believe me, I've seen a lot of courses. Your students are smart people, very talented, except maybe one or two who keep their camera off. They told me to thank you personally. So here I am. Thank you and keep making leadership great again.